9:22. Good morning. This is Nile FM. It's Mark and Sally. This is the morning show, and we are very happy to once again have in the studio a guest. She was here a few years ago, and she joins us this morning. And that guest is Shama Kaur. Good morning, Shama Kaur.
Satnam. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Satnam.
Satnam. What does Satnam mean for anyone listening who doesn't know?
Sat means truth, Nam means identity. So it's going back to the identity of who you really are from the day that you are born.
Wow.
The identity of your soul, which is pure and doesn't have the masks that we wear today. You know, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a father, I'm a mother. Satnam is just the purity of who you were when you were first born.
Oh, that's a lovely greeting, isn't it?
That's a really nice greeting. Well, we should explain who you are after all.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do, Shama?
Well, I am a yoga enthusiast.
Okay. Yoga enthusiast.
Yeah,
All right.
I teach yoga, and I've been practicing for maybe 7-8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a yoga trainer, so I organize Kundalini Yoga trainers all around Egypt.
What was that word, sorry?
Kundalini.
Ooh.
Kundalini.
Okay.
It's a type of yoga, isn't it?
Well, it's a type of yoga, and it goes back to this secret power energy that is located at the bottom of the spine that we raise slowly, so you can expand into your full potential as you live here on Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like that. That's really interesting. That's wonderful. So, Shama, you said you got into this about 8 years ago. I mean, obviously yoga, a lot of people listening go, oh my gosh, yoga. Oh, it's such a weird thing. It's for, for weirdos and stuff. So maybe tell us a little bit about how you got into it and how it's transformed you before, you can help people, with the transformative powers of it.
Well, you won't believe this, but I got into yoga because I was a gym addict.
You were a gym addict.
I was like obsessed with running and weightlifting and being in really good shape and ab exercises, and I would work out like 3 hours a day. It was
my
really
gosh.
insane. And I've done marathons and all this stuff. But then what happened is my mom was in her final stages of cancer in 2011.
Yes.
And so she was also an amazing athlete. Mm-hmm. And so I felt would feel right for me to go get my gym adrenaline high and come back all pumped, and she's in bed for like hours and hours and hours a day,
Yeah.
And so someone recommended yoga online, and I did the exact same thing you're saying.
You rolled your
God,
eyes.
Yoga.
Yeah.
How is this going to work now? How is this useful?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you know what? It's my only option because I needed to be home with her.
Okay.
And so I was like, let's just give it a shot. So when I started, it was because I wanted the physical fitness. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to get these things like stand on my head and do all these handstands and what I mean?
Splits, all those things. Yeah.
Exactly. And I remember my first class, online class, I couldn't even touch my toes. I felt like I was a brick wall. And I was like, how is this ever going to work out? But then magically through practice, I'll tell you what, then in the first class, at the end of the class, I lie down into something called Shavasana or deep relaxation. And I was like, whoa, I can feel my senses.
Right, really?
I can feel my breath.
Are you sure you just didn't nod off at the end when I fall asleep in the corner? That would have been me. I'd have been like passed out. I'd have been like, what is this?
Well, it was a journey of like using the breath in connection with like a river flowing up and down your spine. And so I was visualizing this river moving in my body. And then this is how it helped me, because when my mom passed away and I got into the whole mental thoughts of, oh my God, what's life going to be like? I'm so scared. What happened to her? Where is she? What's going to happen to my sister? All of this negativity.
Oh, there's really difficult questions as well that you would ask yourself.
I just got back to my breath, and I started to visualize that river of water, that flow moving up and down. And every time the thoughts would come, I would go back to the image of the breath moving in my body. And that's why I decided I need to share this with others, because it worked.
Well, this is so you're now the yogi The yogi. I think last time you were here, I was calling you a Jedi master or a yoga master or whatever it was, but it's a yogi. And today, of course, it's just ahead of Ramadan. So we've got some tips. You're going to be providing some tips on how to get through Ramadan using breathing techniques and things like that to try and calm yourself or center yourself in the afternoons.
Exactly. And really big questions like, what about when I have a headache? What about when I'm thirsty? You know, what about when I'm breaking my fast and I'm jumping into plates and platefuls, and how can I manage myself? So yeah, we're going to go into that.
All right.
Some great stuff we've got coming up for you this morning with Shama Kaur. And we want to know from you about things, like your bad habits this morning, don't we, Shama Kaur?
Yeah, we do, because, Ramadan is like have you ever been on a retreat? Ever heard of a retreat? When you go away.
I've retreated.
A retreat. Exactly. You retreat from your busy life, and it's like a kickstart into something new, right? That's what a retreat does.
Yeah.
And that's actually the same function of Ramadan. It's like 30 days of completely changing your habits, right? I wake up, I have coffee. I wake up, I eat this. I wake up, I do that. Now it's completely shifted.
Yeah.
So for 30 days, you have an opportunity to just choose one habit that you want to kick out of your life for good. And you focus those 30 days on kicking it out.
Yeah.
And the best time of day to do that during Ramadan is right before Fitr. So, you have the 6:30 to 7 or 5 to 7 where everyone's just like roaming around, waiting for the meal.
Yeah, aimlessly.
Sleeping, looking at the time. So in that time, just sit down, practice 5 minutes of meditation to release that habit. And I'm happy to talk more about that.
Yeah, we'll have to talk more about meditation for those who don't know what to do other than sit there and make noises.
We'll be practicing it. We'll be doing all that stuff. Let us know about any bad habit you would like to kick, please. Do get in touch with us this morning. SMS 1042. What bad habit? Here with yoga expert and instructor Shama Kaur this morning. She's been on the show before. Today she's here just before Ramadan to, in a little while, take us through some breathing exercises and things that you can do to help get you through Ramadan and get you through the fasting and help you out with that. But we're talking about bad habits that you want to give up, first of all.
Yes, and we've asked you to get in touch with your bad habits and see if we can, put them to Shama and see if she can help us. I love this message that came through from Yasser, who says, this is Yasser, I want to give up smoking. Is there a way to contact Satnam, a.k.a. Shama Paul? It's Shama Kaur.
Well, this is good. This is good.
Shama Paul.
Shama Paul.
Let's go into this.
Like Sean Paul.
Yes, exactly.
But, yeah.
So do you know that the meaning of Kaur means lioness or princess of God?
Okay.
So in this tradition, every woman's name ends with Kaur, which means lioness or princess of God. And every
Okay.
man's name ends with Singh, which
Okay.
means lion or prince of God.
Okay, right.
And Shama means the one who shines the light of our inner soul. So I'm glad to shine light on your smoking issue.
Someone else says, smoking, I would love to give up smoking, but it's just too hard.
So what do you have to say to people who have a habit like smoking, something like that? It could be coffee for someone else. For me personally, coffee is if I don't have my morning coffee, I'm just not functional as a human being. How do you break a habit like that, especially during a time like Ramadan?
Well, a couple of things. First, see it before it comes, So you see Ramadan approaching, and you don't want to keep the same habits right until it gets there, because then the suffering, the headaches, the withdrawal symptoms will be really, really intense.
When you have to stop eating and cut them off straight away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you start gradual reduction, So if you used to have to 5 cups of coffee a day, maybe reduce to 3, and then as the days come nearer, maybe 1 in the morning, maybe reduce how many spoons of coffee you put in the coffee.
So we're about a week away now.
Yeah.
So over this next week, people can gradually start to bring it down.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the same with smoking, if you smoke 3 packs a day, well, reduce, smoke a little bit less, have like a deal with yourself. Okay, so I'm going to work for 2 hours nonstop, and then I will go have this 1 cigarette, and I will really enjoy it, rather than, the mindless smoking while working, while talking.
Chain smoking.
Chain smoking.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Well, I'm a smoker as well. I would imagine that giving up coffee although I'm not a coffee drinker, but there are two different things. One's like a major addiction, isn't it? That I would really frighten people in the Ramadan, and that, you know, people get used to perhaps not having one during the day before iftar. But that's something to give it up permanently and not be able to go to it at Fitr, or not be able to go back to it at Eid. How do people get that out of that mindset and change that mindset?
That psychological dependency as well. Yeah.
Well, like you said, smoking is really complex because it is an addictive chemical in the body, and it's not something you could just...
it's not just psychological, it's physical too.
It's physical as well.
Exactly. And so there are two things to a habit. Part is the physical, and part is the what's happening in the brain, you know, the brain chemistry. So when you develop a habit, what happens is, you know, we have neurons in the brain, and the neurons communicate to each other. And as they continue to communicate, little bridges start to develop from one neuron to the other, from one neuron to the other.
Oh, these are the neurological pathways that are built. Yeah.
And then the more that you repeat the same action over and over again, the stronger the bridge becomes, right? And then, so you always choose that path, the strong bridge that's going to get you there, which means you're going to always fall back on that habit that you've been doing.
And these are how habits are formed. These pathways become so strong that they become the default for us.
Exactly. And so to change the habit, you need to actually build a new bridge to another neuron.
Okay.
And it's scary to go down that path because it's like a really flimsy bridge, you know, where you could like fall over, you know?
It's like a rickety bridge across a massive ravine or something.
Exactly. So you're like walking one foot in front of the other, you're afraid you're gonna fall, and so it's easy to just fall back to the other sturdy bridge. And so in order to build this new one and make it strong, you need to create a new habit and keep repeating it until it goes away. So for example, if you're letting go of smoke, well, what are you going to do in those moments that you want to smoke a cigarette? You know, you need to have something. Are you gonna have some tea? Or are you going to take 3 long deep breaths? Or are you going to pretend you're smoking? Like, you know, actually one of the things that I teach my students who have quit smoking is the pretend to smoke breath, where you take your fingers.
Like the way you did when you were a child.
Yeah. Exactly. Like you're holding a cigarette and you just take 3 but very long deep breaths.
That's like vaping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, you need something to you know, lean on when you're letting go of that habit.
And with Ramadan, because obviously it is a period of time where people give things up anyways, and they do stick to it for longer periods of time, it is easier to give up habits like that.
Well, because it's the perfect month for that. You know, here we are, not only one person, but the whole country, the whole community, so many different people around the world are stepping forward to say, we are starting something new. You know, we are going on this mission of 30 days. And so it's like a wake-up call. I'm going to start something new. I'm going to let something go. And truly, one of my favorite things about Ramadan is those hours between 5 and 6, because everyone goes home early.
Yeah.
And when you sit in that time, you will feel, and especially if you meditate, the energy is much more pure. And so you could connect so much more deeply with yourself, and you can really set that intention of what you want to let go. And that's why I'm recommending meditation at that time.
So what is meditation? For anyone, because when people think of meditation who don't know anything about yoga, they think you're sitting cross-legged on the floor, you have your hair up in a bun, and you're making noises going hum, hum. But I'm assuming it's a lot more than that, of course. Yeah. So what is it?
Well, there's just so many different types of meditation, and you really need to find your path. You know, some people like to chant, some people like to be silent, some people like to say an internal mantra, some people like to use their arms and move in a certain way. But so just to bring it back to you, that you need to find the meditation that works for you, and you need to be open to, okay, I'm going to try this thing and see what it's going to bring to me, you know, because usually we have this resistance toward things like, oh, I'm not meditating, this stuff is for crazy people, not interested, you know. But be open and explore what it will do for you. And in those times, actually, pretty much what meditation does, it's like a mental shower, you know, like every morning you wake up and I hope you have a shower, wash your body, you wash your hair.
Yeah.
But we never wash our minds, and our mind is full of garbage stored in the subconscious. Something that happened yesterday, last night, a month before, a year before, when I was 5 years old. And the subconscious is filled with garbage, kind of like a sea. Have you seen those videos recently of oceans just garbage splattered all over the place, right? So imagine that you're living like that. Your mind is just filled with all of that garbage, and you're swimming in it. Not pretty, you know?
Although that is the reality for many, many people, obviously.
Garbage brain.
Not even that, but then the subconscious gets so filled up that it starts to pour in your unconscious, and so you start to believe that this is who I am, this is how things are.
Yeah, and you stay up all night, and I mean, we have Shedi.
Well, I was going to say, we have a point from Shedi who talks about overthinking, and that's something that I think is definitely affected by that sort of garbage point, isn't it? And your mind gets there's too much in there, there's too much swimming around.
Exactly. It becomes a habit that the mind is always vibrating, and how can I say, attaching to certain things. So you attach to something that happened yesterday, a dream, a mission, a goal, an emotion. So you keep holding on to these thought patterns rather than learning to let them go. And this is really what meditation does. It's like, you've been to movies, right? You go to the cinema, and you watch a movie. And when you watch a movie, you get, you could cry if something happens, or you could get really moved and laugh. But you will never get to that point where you get out of your seats and go into the screen and help the person who's dying.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
You don't do that.
No.
And so meditation teaches you that quality of being the observer. You feel the emotion, you feel the anger, the sadness, whatever it is, but you don't react to it. You just watch it, and then it goes. And when you learn to do that for 10 minutes a day, then in your daily life you can apply that. When something happens, your boss comes and yells at you, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that to me again, I'm gonna quit, he deserves this, he deserves that. Then you're like, oh, I'm just not gonna react right now, right? But then that doesn't mean you become a cold stoned robot who doesn't react, but you allow the emotions to be diffused, and then you take time to respond in the best way that's going to elevate your higher self and be suitable for the situation.
Okay, well, we're going to come back and talk some more. I'm still unsure whether we got to. I think we know what meditation does, or how you do it and what you need to do is what we'll deal with next, I think. Keep your questions coming in for Shama Kaur. Also, if you've got a bad habit you need to give up and you want to tell us about it, then please do. And we've got those techniques for Ramadan on the way too. But we're here with Shama Kaur this morning, one of our favourite guests that we've had on the show, to talk about yoga and how it can help you in your life. And Shama Kaur is here now. Good morning again.
Satnam, good morning.
Good morning.
Satnam.
So we were talking about meditation a little while ago, and you told us the benefits of meditation. But for anyone who doesn't know where to start, do you have anything that you could help us with? I mean, Sarah here says your voice on its own is very calming and soothing. Do you mind giving us a few morning resolutions, or which is an om, isn't it? Which is kind of a chant, like a mini meditation task. So that might help people who are listening.
Well, we can do that in just a little while, if that's okay.
Yeah,
we'll come back after the news, and we'll do some meditating.
Okay, so we'll put a hold on that then.
Yes, absolutely. We've got some other people who are talking about various things. We've got Adine here who says, how can I lose some of the huge weight I've gained since last Ramadan and stay focused for my exams at the same time? I want to be a little bit fit for my prom night as I'm about to leave school finally. So I guess these meditations is something that we're going to do next. They can help.
Well, when it comes to food, conscious eating, and I'm happy to talk a little bit about that. I just have a couple of resolutions that you could remember. One of them is your stomach has no teeth, right? Really, it does not have teeth. So that means you chew and chew and chew and chew your food into little tiny bite sizes before you swallow. That's first. Second, when you're eating, rest to digest, which means when you're eating your plate, take time to rest the fork and knife, sit back, take a couple of breaths, talk to someone, relax, before you gobble down the whole plate. Because it takes 20 minutes for you to be full.
Okay.
And for the brain to register that I'm full and to send you signals that says, okay, enough. But if you're eating very quickly, then you don't get those signals and you eat way more than you need.
Now, I think we all are guilty of eating
Yes,
really quickly.
yes.
I don't think very few of us. What was it? Rest to digest.
Rest to digest.
Yeah, that's
Rest to
something
digest.
that because we nowadays everybody's on the move all the time. We're all living much busier lives. We've got stuff to look at on Facebook.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe when you rest whilst you're eating, you look at your Facebook for a little while
And breathe.
And breathe.
You know? and breathe and notice what's happening, you know, like when you put your fork down, I am giving the little guys in my stomach a break so that they can do their work, you know, because you have little guys in your stomach. They're taking down the well, you know, all of the
stomach acids and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have stomach acids. I like calling the little guys.
Little workers.
They're working really hard for you, and they're trying to break down all the enzymes and separating all the different foods and working really hard for you, and you're just like blah, 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 you know, like really. So chew slowly, and something else is also to not combine too many complex foods together. So as a rule of thumb, if you're eating animal protein, you don't want to mix it with starches.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you're eating
like potatoes,
like
yes,
rice.
yeah, because burgers really don't go with potatoes.
Well,
Not on that, you know.
I mean, you know, if you want to give the little guys a break,
it's something to consider.
So tell us, when was the last time you had a burger?
Oh, I don't even remember. Maybe I was 12 or something.
Really?
That's a long time.
When was the last
I mean, I'm vegan, you know.
Oh, you're vegan. So when was the last time you had... could you have fries? Can you have fries?
Fries? Are there potatoes?
Okay.
I had fries 2 months ago.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I felt like fries, but usually...
I bet then you went on a detox for...
I did a 4-day water fast.
Well, we're going to come back. If you have any questions for Shama Kaur, do get them in, and we're going to come back and we'll try this meditation.
Yes, we'll try the meditation. We'll do the ohms, and I want to know more about this 4-day water fast as well, because everyone thinks that Ramadan is hardcore, which it is, of course. No food for 4 days and just water. Now that is something. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about why you chose to do that and how it affected you.
Yes, we'll come back in just a few moments with Shama Kaur on the morning show. Hello to, we're here of course with Shama Kaur, our yoga expert. Hello to Hel Katetni this morning, who sends us a message.
Yes, says overeating till I feel like Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars. What's different this Ramadan is I'm going to be training with Ignite, a performance training facility with a nutrition plan. But still, I risk my tummy taking over my brain. I'm scared of that. How can I change this or control it?
Well, it goes back to conscious eating.
Conscious eating.
It goes back to conscious eating. If you're eating to the point where your stomach is over, like really, really full, then the question is what gets you to that level. If you're eating slower, if you're chewing each and every bite, if you're tasting each and every ingredient in your mouth, if you're taking that time, then you shouldn't need to be eating more than you need to. But I'll tell you my personal story. I notice that I eat more when I am with people.
Yeah.
And it is because I have, I did, or maybe I still do, like social anxiety, you know?
Yes.
And so when I'm with people and there's lots of energy and talking and this, I eat a little bit more because I have this anxiety within me. And now that I'm aware of it, I go like, okay, so rest to digest. I rest my fork, I rest my knife, I look into my friends, and I just listen to them, and I nod, and I really take in the conversation rather than avoid the conversation by going into my plate, you know? And I'm not saying that this is your habit. I don't know why you overeat, but the question is to start to explore what gets you to that point. You know, is it the environment? Is it the different kinds of food? Is it the temptation?
Is it fear?
Is it fear?
Yeah. No, it's really interesting because obviously as Egyptians, when we were very young, the first thing that you experience is a family member, whether it's a grandparent or your mother,
stuffing your face,
running have you finished? Show me your mouth. Okay, yalla. Put in another spoon. Okay, finish? No, mom, I still have some. No, okay, yalla, more. And you have that. And so you feel like you're not
you
actually
throw up, and then they feed you all over again.
I know, Habibi, no problem. I'll put you another plate. And so I think a lot of us associate being full with actually is being too full.
And it's really interesting about that because I travel often, and the plates that, I mean, I'm talking about yogis, right?
Yeah, you're talking about yogis now.
Yogis, yogi teacher trainings. The plates and the portions are much smaller than what we eat here. And I would think, oh my God, these people aren't eating anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Living on air.
Yeah. But then I discovered that actually eating is for fueling, and that is how little food we actually need to fuel.
Okay.
But we are so used to the big plate with half of it of I don't know what rice and pasta and this and that and second serving that we've lost touch with the idea of use food for fuel rather than food for pleasure.
Well, I was at an all-you-can-eat buffet at the weekend, so
Go.
so I was definitely doing a bit of that, I think. Now, we said we were going to do some meditation and some breathing exercises to help people during Ramadan. Now, I think when you were here last, a few years ago, I struggled with the most basic of breathing tasks.
Yeah.
So perhaps I'm hoping that I might manage it a little bit better this time. If you're listening right now, this is going to be something nice and easy. People can do this while driving, right, Shama Kaur?
This one, yes.
This one-
We're going to do the 4x4 for energy.
Okay.
Very simple. 4x4 by energy breath.
Okay.
So you're going
this
to
one you can do, Mark.
Okay, right. I'm going to give this one a go.
Yeah, all right. So this is breathing.
So this is breathing, right? And it's literally 4 sniffs. Like, you know when you smell something in the house and you're like, what is this about?
Yeah.
So you're sniffing 4 counts in and
Okay.
4 counts out.
Okay. All through the nose?
All through
Wait.
the nose.
You're sniffing 4 counts in,
Yeah.
And then-
4 counts out.
what's the 4 counts out? You can't sniff outwards, can
Yeah,
you?
Yeah, you can.
exhaling.
Exhale. Oh, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
right. I was like, how can you sniff outwards? I got a bit
So-
confused. See, this is we haven't even got off the basics. And I'm starting all right. So, okay,
I
so
never heard that question before. Thank you.
so sniff 4 counts in,
Yes.
and then
4 counts out. So you can sniff outwards. See?
Just through the nose.
oh right.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
the way you like blow your nose, but just don't blow your nose. Just-
Okay, I've learned something. Okay,
Yeah.
so 4 in and 4 out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to lead us in it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
A, I've lost count. B, I forgot to do the the hours thing. Okay, let's count in, shall we?
Let's do it one more time and ask everyone on the radio to.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone listening right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yay!
Okay, right?
Bravo, yeah,
But
Mark.
you're not only going to do it once, right? You're going to do it for 5-10 minutes.
Okay, right.
So
5
you
to
do
10
this for five or 10
5 to 10
minutes?
minutes,
That's
yeah.
a bit intense.
Yeah.
And what happens?
Well, you have nothing to do if you're in the car.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
And
So-
wait, I'll tell you what it does. So you're increasing the oxygen supply to the brain. So this is really great for those who are beginners because you're not taking the deep belly breath, which might be challenging. So you are taking very simple, soft sniffs through the nose.
Yeah.
And that is like standing at the gas station and taking in gas from the station to fill up your car. So you're taking in that air goes in and then toxins go out.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So you could do that anytime you feel tired, and it's really also good for headaches. But for headaches, what I also recommend is very simple, but
Yeah.
requires some discipline, is that every hour of the day, you just stop and take 3 long, deep breaths.
DJ Higosh got in touch and said, what is the solution for headaches?
Yeah.
So this is a headache
Yeah.
solution. So 3 long,
deep
breaths.
breaths every hour throughout the day. It's simple with similar with hydration, right? In Ramadan, one of the problems is hydration. How do we keep our hydration?
Yeah.
So you keep drinking small sips of water from the time of fitar all the way until 3. So continuity.
Okay.
And same with headaches. Do 3 long deep breaths every hour. We have great smartphones these days, and there are great water apps that remind you to drink water. You know that?
Yes, of course.
So you can probably have a breath app that reminds you to breathe, and you just breathe the best way that you can. 3 long deep breaths, and that will mitigate any headaches.
So when you breathe, you breathe. Just watching you breathe through the nose and you exhale through the nose.
Through the nose.
And this is even with deeper breaths.
Yes.
Okay. Why is that? Why do you not? Because we all usually what we know is you breathe in through your nose and you exhale through your mouth. So why keep it just through the nose?
Well, the breath is very has lots of how can you say nutrients. It's prana. It's a life force of vitality, and so
oxygen is it gives life to your cells, isn't it? It makes you feel more refreshed when you take a deep breath and everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so when you exhale through the nose, first you are the hairs in your nose act like filters.
Okay.
So to help remove all of the toxins.
Okay.
While going in and while being let out. And breathing through the tongue is great to detoxify the organs. So
Okay, we'll have to stop there. Breathing through the tongue.
Yeah.
Through the mouth.
Through the mouth.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, is this something new that I didn't know that you could...
Through the tongue.
Through
Right.
the tongue.
Through the tongue.
Right, breathing through the tongue.
Yeah.
As in, how?
Okay, so there's breathing through the nose and breathing through the tongue.
Right.
Breathing through the tongue is good for your inner organs. So it's detoxifying the liver. And it's great for thirst. Ramadan, we get thirsty, right?
But how can you just demonstrate to us what breathing through the tongue is? Because I think a lot of people are lost.
There are two ways. I'm happy to. But I would like those who can do the U-shaped breath. You know how to roll your tongue into a U?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like that.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Sally's
exactly.
doing it.
It's
Okay.
when you turn the corners of your mouth in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those who have that skill, God bless you, you could do this breath.
So that's so you need to do that little
The curve.
little curve,
like
little envelope
you
thing.
stick your tongue all the way out, and then you do the U.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you breathe through. Sally's doing it, so we're watching.
Are we doing out or?
In through
Are
the
you in?
tongue,
yeah, I'm breathing in.
Okay.
and then
That's
out,
interesting.
and then out through the nose. So, yes.
I wish I could
exactly.
see. I wish you could see Sally right now
We're going to
because
demonstrate at some point.
Yeah.
But you see, what this does is you take the cool saliva from the tongue.
Yes.
And then it soaks up and goes inside of you. So it vaporizes and it quenches your thirst.
okay.
Actually, it is. It's a cold air that
It's
you
cool.
receive. Actually, that is
Exactly.
true. You have to stick your tongue out, Mark.
And it's
No,
great.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to do it because I can't do that. So I'm just trying to.
Well, I can't do it either, so
Doing
I
it-
just pretend. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't roll my tongue, so I just do the best that I can.
Because it's a genetic thing. Some people
Exactly.
can do it, some people cannot.
Yogis say that you can learn it, but I haven't learned it yet.
So that we've got there. So we've got the nose sniffing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we've got the deep breaths
Through the tongue.
through the tongue.
No. So the one through the tongue is called Sit Ali.
Sit Ali.
Like sit and Ali.
Okay.
Sit Ali.
Okay.
Sit Ali pranayam.
Okay.
The other one, the 3 long deep breaths,
Yes.
is just like human being breathing. This
Normal
is how-
breathing, but
yeah,
but you
this is-
usually do it through the nose.
Through the
Okay.
nose. In through
So
the
let's
nose,
let's
out
give
through
that.
the nose.
We'll give that a go. I might just have to cough a second. So
Okay,
it's like-
we're just going to clear his passageways. And
Right.
are you ready?
Right, I'm ready.
All right.
So this is. I need to breathe out first. Right. Right. Okay. So then we're going to do 3 big deep breaths.
In through the nose and out
How
through the
long do you
nose.
breathe in for? What's a deep breath? How long would you
What's
breathe
the-
in
yeah.
for?
Well, everyone is different. So
Okay.
just do the longest, most deep that you can do.
Okay, so everybody listening right now, we'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll all breathe in through our noses, and then we'll all let go.
And exhale through the nose as well.
Exhale through the nose.
Okay.
All right. So 1, 2, 3.
Did you choke on the way out?
I didn't choke. I can't do it. I was like,
Why can't you do it? What happened? You got stuck.
It tried to come out through my mouth. It made a funny noise.
I think if you got like a tickly throat, which if you're coughing, you probably have a bit of a tickly throat. It could be quite interesting.
Is this more difficult for smokers? Breathing. I think generally it is, isn't it?
Well, no, because you take the breath in of when you're taking the cigarette, right? You're
Yeah.
And you expand your lungs, yeah?
Exactly. So you're used to that strong taking it in, but maybe
Not that we recommend it.
maybe
No.
now the shift. Maybe now the shift is to the nose,
Okay.
and just to put the cigarette away and continue taking that deep breath without the cigarette.
I want to try it with my mouth.
Yes.
Okay.
That's another benefit. That's the self-care breath. Again, cool. Nice.
This is the best morning show ever.
You know what? This is a great step. I think that this is what you should do for your resolution in Ramadan.
Okay.
3 long O-shaped breath through the mouth like that.
Okay.
And out. And then exhale through the nose, not through the mouth.
Okay. And are you allowed to breathe during the day in Ramadan before iftar? I mean, like, just generally, that's okay, right?
Well, it's true. I think lots of people do hold their breath.
Yes,
that is true, and that's why you get headaches and you get a lot of things.
Yes.
And when you get too emotional or too nervous, and I'm known to do this, where if I get really worked up, I stop breathing, and then I just everything comes. And if I'm crying, especially, everything just tenses up. And sometimes I have to remind myself, when people remind me, to just breathe.
Exactly, and that's how headaches come, and poor decision making, and the not able to answer for things, and self-doubt. It's because there's not enough oxygen supply to the brain.
Yes.
So just by stopping every hour and taking 3 long deep breaths, you're just giving yourself with oxygen, filling yourself.
Perfect. Well, let us know how you got on with breathing this morning. So we don't say we don't teach you things.
I know.
On this show. Let us know how you got on with those breaths. And we're going to come back. Thank you, Shama Kaur, for being here with us this morning. And we're going to come back and we'll have a little bit more chat in just a few moments. Hello to Aladdin. Of course, we're here with Shama Kaur, who is a yoga expert and yoga instructor. Aladdin says, I made it, and I made that curve with my tongue. Really refreshing. Thanks for the advice. That's, of course,
my pleasure. Just do it for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes, Aladdin.
There you go. And also, we had a lovely message from Hadir as well, who is loving the show. Says, I did it. I did the breathing, and it's amazing.
Why guru?
There you go. There you go. Now we have Hassan Al-Khuli. There's always a skeptic, and I think people are allowed to be skeptical. Says, is there any evidence base for this? Can you please help us point out any resources or anything like that?
Sure. There's great resources. Kundalini Research Institute is a non-profit organization that creates all of these books and pamphlets and information about how this science, how this technology actually works. So I would recommend that you go on to that and check it out.
Okay, well, there you go.
Someone else says, is it effective to start learning yoga by myself online? I just don't have the time to go to classes.
Absolutely. That's how I started, Mark. I started online on my little laptop. The only thing I did is I made a commitment to myself that I will do 1 hour of yoga a day.
Okay.
And I went on a great resource. Now there are millions and millions out there. And I just did that 1 hour, and it was kind of awkward sometimes because I would have to look up and turn my head, and I don't really know what the teacher is doing, and but it worked. I strongly
It's just about committing to it.
It's just about committing to it.
Making that like 1 hour.
And drop the excuses. I hear people, oh no, but I need to be in a group to do blah, blah. No, you don't need to be in a group. You just need to be on your own, on your mat, and just listen to the voice guiding you and do it.
Yeah. And so for going back to Ramadan, you say that it's a good thing to start a yoga practice before iftar. Why?
Well, now I'm going to contradict what I just said because I'm going to talk about group energy. So yes, you need to do the work on your own, but also it is very good to be in the group energy to uplift you. So you do the stuff at home, and then when you come in together, you inspire people to go further.
Okay.
Right? And you use the group energy when you feel down and low. What's good about Fitr and Ramadan is that doing yoga, first of all, it's you use a lot of breath in all of the postures, which energizes you. So having more energy for the day after, right? Also, it aids you in your digestion and it improves your metabolic rate. Doing things like headstand or downward facing dog, all of these postures with your head down and your legs kind of up or your heart over the head, that allows the blood to rush to the brain and flushes out all of the organs, which helps the organs process foods better, give you more oxygen in your blood, gets your heart working better, improving your sleep. So really, really many benefits. And also it's not so it's not so high impact. There are more dynamic styles of yoga, but because you have the combination of rest and movement, rest and movement. It's very conducive to fasting.
Okay.
You know?
All right. Well, I like that. And for anyone who is scared of fasting and doing all these things during Ramadan, I just want to point out that Shama did a 4-day fast. And not just any fast. We're talking about only water for 4 days straight, no breaks.
That's right. And what's funny is I was trying to go for 3 weeks. And many people do that. They go 3 weeks.
3 weeks,
and 1
only
month.
water.
What's
And
wrong
you
with
know
those
what?
people?
Yeah. And you know that there are also breatharians. Have you heard of breatharians?
I have heard of breatharians.
So explain what a breatharian is.
They live on breath. Like, vegetarian, vegan.
They live on air.
Breatharian. They live on air. I mean...
Now, we've talked about these people on the show before,
I've made
haven't
fun
we?
of these people on the
yeah,
show
yeah.
before. Yes, I
Because
have.
that's not possible.
I'm not a breatharian. I don't intend to be. I think it's possible for a few days. I mean, with the water fasting, I never thought I could do it.
Yeah.
I initially started saying, okay, let's just see if I can end this day.
Yeah.
And then the day after, okay, maybe I can get through this one more day. And what was amazing is I just became so sensitive to every single cell in my body. I could just feel it vibrating. And all of my habits, like, okay, I have this habit where after I have lunch, I go upstairs, I start my project, and then I'm like, oh, I feel like having a snack. And so I go get some raw almonds, and then I go upstairs.
We have very different snacks
and then
to each other.
well, I have some cashews, and or I keep snacking, and then when I started fasting, I realized, oh, I can't snack. What am I going to do? So I made some parsley tea.
Okay.
I had a hot water bath.
I have to really get creative.
I had to figure something out, and I sat down
Rubik's
and
Cube.
I did lots of breathing exercises and meditations because I realized that when the mind is agitated and it wants to release that agitation on food, you need to bring it to calm down.
Yeah.
So I would meditate and to get that energy, pick me up energy that I would get from maybe a green tea or something.
Yeah.
I would get through different breathing exercises to energize. And sometimes I would go for a walk, but definitely by the third day I could not go for a walk.
You're just too tired.
I was too tired, and lifting one leg after the other was a lot of effort, and my breath was shallow, and just getting out of bed, my heart was beating really fast. So I wasn't scared. I was enjoying being in touch with those sensations. And then at the end of the 4 days, I remember that one glass of orange carrot juice. I will never forget.
That's the greatest.
I will never forget.
That
how it
one
felt.
glass of orange carrot juice.
God. Wow. I was in bliss.
Well, if it could teach you to look up, if nothing else, if something like that can teach you to say thank you,
Yes,
thank you for this, then I think there you go.
And then you realize how much you eat, at least I did, when I didn't actually need to, because I was filling empty space inside of me. I was bored. I was angry. I was afraid. I didn't know what to do. I was sitting with someone and they were talking too much. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep eating.
Well, you can still have a little bit of kunefa, can't you, during Ramadan? That's okay for vegans, right?
No comment.
Well, Mark will start with the breathing. We'll deal with the kunefa next year, I think, maybe. But Shama,
Sugar, the thing is, sugar is a poison to the body. So as long as there's sugar inside, I'm going to say...
But isn't everything
cut
a
it
poison to the body, Shama Kaur?
No, sugar is
Even
really a
breathing
poison.
in Cairo is a poison to the body.
Natural sugars are
That's
good.
why you breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, for the natural filters in the nose.
Well, it's been wonderful to talk to you once again.
My pleasure.
It's always good fun having you on the show, and lots of people have got something out of it. And even if they try just a little bit of what you've talked to us today about, it will be worthwhile.
Yes, for sure. At the end of the day, you try something new, like Shama said. If it works for you, excellent. If you get something out of it, there's always, I think we can all get something out of a little bit of silence and just connecting with yourself in times of frustration. So,
especially in this very special time, it's 30 days. It's 30 days to restart everything. So here's your chance.
Here we go.
Absolutely. I love the fact that Sally just said we can all get something out of a little bit of silence, which has never happened in Sally's life.
No,
ever.
It really, really does not happen too often. But I think
this year.
It could be my year.
This is your year. Okay.
I do a job where I talk. Yeah, Mark. What am I meant to do?
Thank you, Shama Kaur. Have a
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you so much.
Take care.